Welcome back to Epic Investing Nerd, a guide for millennials and beginners for everything investing. Now, I know many of you are eager to dive right in and start investing. It's fun. It's what I made a whole channel about. But before you start, there are two things you must do, or at least have already done before you start investing. Here are two steps you absolutely must take before you invest. Now, if you saw my intro video, you'll have heard of my 50-30-20 rule. If not, I'll repeat it here because it's the best lesson I've ever learned in my life. Every time you get paid, take 20% of what you earned and save it away. The rest you can spend on wants and needs, but don't you touch that 20%, unless you're investing it, or of course you need it for a life or death emergency. But nerd, can't I just invest that 20% each time I get paid? Well, yes, you can. The question is whether you should. See, there are all kinds of mistakes most beginners make, including, but not limited to, investing before they were financially well enough or educated enough to do so. Nowhere is the proverb, "Fools rush in where angels fear to tread," more relevant than investing. Do not rush. Right now, if you feel the urge to invest, but you don't really know or care whether you're in shape to do so, then you're experiencing a well-documented and potentially dangerous psychological phenomenon called FOMO. It's fascinating. I'll make a whole other video about FOMO later. But right now, I'll say it ties in with how people think successful investing just means that you buy something now and sell at a higher price later, and that's it. And hopefully you sell it soon. You know, it goes up soon. You better buy it now because it's going to go up soon. You better buy now. Just buy whatever's hot and popular now and then sell it when it goes up more. This is how investing is framed to people who don't know a thing about investing. Especially it's marketed to young males. And by the way, these salesmen are experts at appealing to the uninitiated. They want to whip you into a frenzy, get you nice and emotional, so you're not thinking. The inexperienced buy it because they've been convinced they can sell it for more later, and they're going to get rich and they're going to make tons of money! The cringe. I'll make plenty of videos later on how to spot swindlers, scammers, and pretenders. Beware anyone who tells you what to buy before knowing your financial circumstances. But right now, you must ask yourself, are you in healthy enough financial shape to start investing right now? Investing, like driving a car, is fun, but it's serious fun. There's a reason you need to pass a government-mandated test for permission to drive or even purchase a motor vehicle. No such restrictions exist for purchasing stock, and yet if you invest before you're ready, you'll get yourself killed, metaphorically speaking. And by the way, that's exactly what happens to most beginner investors, and it wreaks havoc on those who weren't in proper financial shape to start in the first place. Okay, nerd, get to the 2 points. How can you say whether or not I'm in shape to invest? 1. Do you have any high-interest debt? And 2. Do you have enough cash in the bank to handle a crisis? I call this a disaster cushion. If yes to the first one, pay it off before investing. Why? Because it'll hurt you more than investing will help you. Stocks wildly swing up and down, but in the long run, they rise in value overall. And that value is a very unsteady but general rate of about 7% each year. But actually, due to factors too long to explain in one video, the average individual investor only makes an annual return of less than 2% each year. Compare that to credit card debt, the average of which is at least 14% per year. And don't even get me started on payday loans, which have an average annual rate of 400% across the US overall. In some states, it's as high as 700%. If you learn nothing else from this video, learn to never ever take out a payday loan. But let me show you why even a relatively low 14% rate will decimate your finances. If you have a credit card with a relatively low rate of 14%, and if you meet or even beat the market, your debt will still be growing at double the rate. If you put $100 in the market and $100 on your credit card, in 10 years your investment might have doubled if you invested wisely. But if you're like most investors, it won't have grown by even half. Your debt, however, will have grown more than triple. Chop your credit card up and pay off your debt at the absolute max you can afford. That's your first investment right there. And avoid payday loan offices like a makeshift Ebola clinic. Now, some of you are saying you don't have any high-interest debt. And to you I say, grats, good, keep it that way. Then let's move to question 2. Do you have a disaster cushion? That's enough cash to cover yourself or an immediate family member in a crisis, such as unemployment or a surprise medical emergency. Let's say Becky is waitressing for a typical $2,000 per month. Now don't be scared, but I'm going to make you do some easy math. If she's earning $2,000 per month, how much should she need to be spending on needs? If you've been paying attention, you know the answer is 50%, in which case the answer is $1,000. In this scenario, it also means she'll be saving $400 a month and $600 on whatever luxuries she wants. But once she's saved $1,000, we know that if some disaster happens and Becky's income is cut off, she should at least survive for 1 month before running out of money. But let's be more conservative. Let's say Becky doesn't want to just survive during these hypothetical hard times. Let's say she wants to keep buying those wants to cope with the stress of being unable to find work. In this case, she should have money saved that'll cover several months of wants and needs, in which case we add another 30% to cover wants per month to the 50% that cover the needs. In this case, Becky would be well cushioned against a disaster for 1 month at $1,600, 3 months at $4,800, and 6 months at $9,600. This also cushions well against surprise medical emergencies for herself or her family. So there they are, the 2 steps you must take before investing. And while you're making yourself ready to invest, there is one kind of investment you can make: research. Read books. Almost everything I know about investing I learned through reading. For overall financial wellness, I'd recommend All You're Worth by Amelia and Elizabeth Warren. The language is very simple, it's made for beginners, and it's even where I discovered the 50-30-20 rule. Once you're in good enough financial shape to invest, be sure to comment what kinds of investing topics you'd like me to cover next. Also, be sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.